Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the financial mysteries of the business world, and today we're looking at Unity Biotechnology Incorporated's latest report. And let's just say it is a farewell tour with a hefty price tag. This isn't your typical quarterly update. Unity Biotechnology Incorporated is filing an 8-K, which usually signals something significant has happened. And in this case, it is a pretty big deal. We're talking about winding things down. The earliest event reported here is the 24th of September, 2025. This filing is all about major changes, specifically the termination of a key agreement and modifications to shareholder rights, all linked to the company's decision to dissolve. First up, let's talk about a major lease termination. Unity Biotechnology has decided to end its lease for its office and laboratory space in South San Francisco. The original lease was supposed to run all the way until the 31st of December 2029, but by mutual agreement, it is now set to officially end on the 31st of March 2026. However, the landlord has the option to make that termination date even earlier. Think of it like breaking a long lease early. Now, breaking a lease doesn't come cheap. Unity is paying about $3.65 million to get out of this agreement. This includes a significant upfront payment of $2.75 million, and the company also has to provide a letter of credit for another $0.90 million. This is a substantial expense reflecting the cost of exiting a long-term commitment. It's not just their own lease they're terminating. They also had a sublease agreement with another company, Initial Therapeutics Incorporated. That is also being ended. It seems like Unity is clearing the decks completely. In this sublease situation, the subtenant is paying Unity $0.20 million. However, Unity has to pass this money on to their landlord, and they also need to draw down another letter of credit for $0.73 million to give to the landlord. So while it might look like money coming in, it's essentially being redirected to cover their primary lease termination costs. Here is a really interesting part for any potential future asset sales. If Unity sells off any corporate assets for cash within 2 years after the early termination date, the landlord gets a quarter of that cash, up to a maximum of $26.9 million. This is a pretty steep cut for the landlord, and it shows they are trying to recoup substantial costs, possibly anticipating some liquidation value. This lease termination is all part of a bigger picture. Earlier in 2025, they announced cost reduction plans, including significant layoffs. Then, in June, the board decided it was best for the company and its shareholders to dissolve entirely. This filing is the operational fallout from that monumental decision. Now, let's look at what this means for you if you are a shareholder. The company's dissolution was approved by the board back in June and then by the shareholders on the 18th of September 2025. And just a few days later, on the 26th of September 2025, the company officially filed its certificate of dissolution with the state of Delaware. This means that as of that date, the company is in the process of winding down and will cease to exist as an operating entity. This is a critical point for any remaining shareholders. As of the 26th of September 2025, the company has closed its stock transfer books. This means you can no longer buy or sell shares on the open market through the company's books. The only ways your shares can be transferred now are through inheritance, legal processes, or if the shareholder themselves is dissolving. Essentially, trading has stopped. This certificate of dissolution is a key document, officially marking the end of the road for Unity Biotechnology as an active business. Beyond these major events, the filing also lists exhibits. These are the supporting documents, like the lease termination agreement and the certificate of dissolution itself. One of the crucial exhibits here is Exhibit 10.1, which is the actual lease termination agreement with Bayside Area Development, LLC, dated the 24th of September 2025. This is the document that details the terms of their exit from the leased premises. And finally, like all SEC filings, it is signed off by company leadership. In this case, Craig Jalbert, president, signed on the 26th of September 2025, confirming the validity of this report. So, what is the big story here? Unity Biotechnology is, for all intents and purposes, shutting down. The lease termination and the formal filing of dissolution documents are clear signals of a company winding down its operations. The significant costs associated with terminating the lease, combined with the fact that they had already implemented cost saving measures and layoffs, paints a picture of a company that has faced insurmountable challenges or has strategically decided to end its journey. The future of the company is not about growth or innovation anymore, but about orderly liquidation and returning any remaining value to its shareholders. Looking at this filing, the overriding message is one of finality. The company is no longer pursuing its stated mission of developing therapies. Instead, it is focused on fulfilling its obligations and closing out its corporate existence. The substantial payments to terminate the lease are a clear indicator of the financial pressures or strategic decisions that led to this point. For shareholders, this means focusing on liquidation distributions rather than future stock appreciation. The risks and opportunities that were once relevant, like clinical trial outcomes or market competition, are now largely irrelevant. The primary consideration is how effectively the company can wind down its affairs and distribute any remaining assets. It is a somber but clear ending to the Unity Biotechnology story as an operating entity. Alright, that is our breakdown of Unity Biotechnology Incorporated S latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company S future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more exclusive content and discussions. Thanks for watching, see you next time.